Hey y'all, it's your girl Jimmy and welcome back to my channel. We did not recap last week's episode, so we're gonna do a double cap this week, which means I have a lot of thoughts, so make sure you have a lot of wine. Last week's episode was an ice week, which means an elimination. And it was in fact a double elimination, and we saw Jack, who is Adore's ex, and Sydney, who started off as Daniel's but now is Nicole's ex, exit the chalet. And I just want to take a moment to shout out Sydney. We have been calling her a houseplant on this recap, and that has taken off to Twitter, to Instagram, and basically everyone now refers to Sydney as a houseplant. Sydney, being the bad bitch that she is, has embraced this new nickname and actually posted a very hot selfie on her Instagram this week with the caption, houseplant, and tagged me. In honor of that, I have decided to rename my houseplant Sydney. So welcome to the fam, Sid. Speaking of Sydney, very serious note really quick. She also posted this week about a traumatic experience in her life that led to an eating disorder. I think that everyone should go follow Sydney, check out this post, give her some love. It takes a lot of strength and it's very brave to share that story. And I am grateful that she shared that story because I know so many people are dealing with the same thing she's dealing with. So give Sydney a follow and just shout out you, Sydney, for being the best houseplant ever. Before we get in this recap, we need to touch on a podcast. Sheena Shanigans. I don't know the name of Sheena's podcast, nor do I care to know the name of Sheena's podcast. I would literally rather eat a blue jean jacket than listen to Sheena on a podcast. With that being said, it was brought to my attention that Sheena had what's his name? Josh Rogan, whatever y'all call them. Josh and Rogan on her podcast. And Sheena felt the need to speak about Kayla. And here's the thing, y'all. Here is my issue. I understand that Sheena and Mikey are best friends. I respect her loyalty to Mikey. What I do not respect is Sheena, of all people, slut-shaming Kayla. Sheena, we have literally seen you hook up with a married man on Vanderpump Rules. We have been there through all of the situations that you've been involved in. You are the last person that should be speaking on Kayla and what she does now that she's single. I understand your loyalty is with Mikey. I respect that. Here is the issue. Kayla cannot speak on what happened yet because it happened during filming. And Sheena's saying there's not two sides to every story. There's only one side to this story. No, Sheena, there are two sides to this story, and when Kayla can speak on it, she will speak on it. I am not condoning Kayla's behavior. Trust me, Kayla is going to sit down right here on this channel, and we are going to discuss it all when she can. I will hold her accountable, trust and believe that. But I do not like that Sheena was slut-shaming Kayla, and I don't like the fact that Sheena says there's not two sides to the story. Because trust me, there are two sides to the story, and when Kayla's able to finally tell her story, y'all might see things in a different light. With that being said, Sheena sucks. We're moving on. It is fire week in the chalet, which means no one is going home, but new exes will be arriving. It's peak day, which means someone will be going to the peak to bring an ex back. And the episode begins with Tierney and Sam having a casual conversation over breakfast. And Tierney makes it very clear that she wants to have children in 3 to 4 years. And Sam's face automatically says it all. He is like, red flag, red flag, red flag. And he literally tells Tierney, I'm going to be in the club DJing in 3 years. Like, I'm going to continue my boy lifestyle. And she goes, that's fine. I'll just stay home with our baby. Run, Sam. Run as fast as you can. I don't know who needs to hear this, but don't plan imaginary children with men that are not your boyfriend. It scares men off. Hell, I'm scared, and I'm not even a man. So with that being said, rule number 1, do not plan imaginary children with someone who is not your man. Moving on. 3 people are headed to the peak, and it is Callum, Tyler, and Niall. And the moment they head to the peak, we all know who's coming back with an ex. It is 100% Callum. It's kind of like when your boss calls everyone into the office and you know who's getting fired. Same situation here. But I want to go ahead and mention this now. We're going to also touch on it later. I'm seeing a lot of tweets about Sam is a boy and Sam did Tierney wrong, this and that. But did we not see a scene of Sam and Tierney in bed together? And did Sam not tell her, I'm going to keep my options open, and if you're not okay with that, I respect it, but I'm being honest with you about what I'm gonna do? When a man tells you he's gonna keep his options open, he's being honest with you. And as females, as women, we have to respect when a man can be honest, because God knows they don't know how to be honest most of the time. So Sam is being very real and honest with Tierney in this moment, and it's very clear, and Sam even says it word for word, it went in one ear and out the other. So let's all just remember that Sam, in fact, told Tierney that night, laying in bed, I'm going to keep my options open. So I go downstairs to the bunk room to nap. I'm like, y'all wake me up when lunch is ready. Nothing's popping off today. I'm going to get my beauty sleep in. God knows I need it. Sam and Lademi then come down and interrupt my nap. And I don't like to be woken up from my sleep. And they both are campaigning to win the fire date, because it is fire week and someone's gonna win a date. And I'm like half asleep, and I hear Lademi explaining why she thinks she needs to win the date, and I just hear Sam spreading up some bullshit of why he needs to win the date. And I kind of just perk up, and I'm like, okay, I'm bored. I'm now awake because these people do not respect my sleep schedule. And when I get bored, I like to start drama. So I immediately think, Callum's bringing an ex back. We don't know what ex it's going to be. How shady would it be if Sam won the date and just took the new girl who literally just got in the house? Because what happens, they arrive from the peak, we then vote, and then it's immediately you make your decision. Do I have a plan like a brewing? I decide to get up. I pull Sam aside, and I was like, yo, the one thing I'm very good at is I can run numbers, and I can get this vote to go whichever way that we want it to go. So Sam, I will 100% win you this date if you do one thing. And he's like, yeah, what's that? I'm like, whoever walks in that house for Callum, you're taking that person, his ex, on this date. And he's immediately like, that's what I want to do. That's what I was thinking in my head. But he's like, I just don't know how to execute it. I'm like, don't worry, Sam, I got you. So I immediately just start counting votes, because anyone that's ever been on a challenge knows the importance of counting votes. And I realized, you know what, we could actually make this happen. So I spent the day low-key politicking, low-key campaigning, low-key scheming. Because here's the thing, you can't let people know in a house full of reality TV stars what you're doing, because no one can keep a secret. So the only people that knew this plan was obviously Sam, myself, and Niall. Guess who has an ex? It is, in fact, Callum. And this is no ex, y'all. This is his first girlfriend. She used the word soulmate, ironically, because he's now calling Georgia his soulmate. And Paris is the new ex, and Paris and Callum have a lot of history. And anyone that has history with someone knows you might not no longer be in love with that person, but history runs deep. Paris comes into the house, and she's beautiful. Can we all just take a moment to appreciate what is Paris? Because Jesus, that girl is stunning. Georgia is immediately shook. And I love Georgia. I love Lademi, but I am going to hold them very accountable in this moment. We have to live in a world where we do not compare our levels of prettiness. Lademi immediately tells Georgia she has nothing on you. You have nothing to worry about. And I am just not a fan of this conversation. I think as girls, as women, when we allow ourselves to only compete with other women based on looks, then we allow men to get away with that. First and foremost, Paris is just as gorgeous as Georgia. They're very beautiful in different ways. But it doesn't matter. If Paris wasn't as pretty as Georgia, your validation should not be in your looks alone. And sometimes we all get caught up in that. And I've been there, where an ex has a prettier girlfriend or a prettier ex and it gets in your head. Fun fact, Knight's ex-girlfriend literally looked like Lauren from The Hills. So imagine when I met him on The Real World and I realized his ex literally was Lauren Conrad's doppelganger. It's hard to deal with. But as adults, as women, we have to be it doesn't matter if she's prettier than me. It doesn't matter if she's as pretty as me. It doesn't matter if I'm way prettier than her. We've got to bring more to the table. And I saw on Twitter it was rubbing y'all the wrong way as well. But you got to remember, Georgia is 21. She's very young. It's fire date time. It's time to see who wins the date. Dun, 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 dun. Spoiler alert, Sam wins the date because your girl can count votes. I did not feel bad in this moment. Like, a lot of people were tweeting me, like, did you feel bad when you realized that Sam, in fact, won the date, that he was gonna play out your plan, and that Tierney was going to be hurt or upset? No, I did not feel bad or upset. I said it in my interview, and I stand by everything that I say in my interviews. I was bored. I wanted to start some drama, and I wanted to some shit up. And that's exactly what I did. And I do see the tweets where, like, Jimmy has no loyalty to Tierney. Like, aren't they supposed to be girls? Yes, Tierney is my girl, but Sam and I are best friends. Shout out LaDemi for clearing that up on AfterBuzz as well, because I did see the AfterBuzz hosts were assuming that my loyalty was with Tierney. No, my loyalty was with Sam. And most importantly, my loyalty is with you at home, and I wanted to create some drama for y'all. You're welcome. Sam wins the date, and hey, new girl Paris, I know you just got here 5 minutes ago, but would you like to go on the date with me? And Paris is like, sure, why not? My soulmate Callum's already moved on to his soulmate Georgia. I might as well move on with her ex. It is what it is. It's a dating show. I mean, Sam's here to date. He's made that very clear to Tierney. He's now made that clear to the house. I mean, comment how you feel on it. I'm seeing a lot of tweets. Some people think the master plan was amazing. Some people feel bad for Tierney. You know, it is what it is. It's hard to feel bad for Tierney because Sam straight up told her, I am going to keep my options open. And if someone tells you they're going to do something and then they do that, you can't be mad. You're literally mad at that at this point. Sam, enjoy your dates. I really, really enjoy playing matchmaker for Sam. Shout out Kayla. Ryan and Mag are back in the house, and I truly don't know. I've been like trying to figure out in my mind how long they were gone for. I think it was about 3 to 4 days. Truly, I can't put all those pieces together, but I do have some pieces to put together for y'all because a lot of people are really confused. He wakes up the morning that they leave, and he gets a phone call that some of his family members have been in a car wreck. It was not his immediate, like, mom and dad. I think it was cousins. I am not gonna speak on who was in the car wreck or anything like that because I truly don't know those details. Him and Mag decide to leave the house. We're all under the impression if you're leaving the house, it's to go home and be with your family. Respect that. So they come back in 3 or 4 days later, and it's like, everything's fine. And I'm like, we're in New Zealand. It takes how long to get back? How long? I'm like, this math is not adding up. There is no way these two fools flew all the way to America, to Michigan where his family lives, sorted everything out, and are now back. I'm like, no, something's not adding up. So, hey Mag, how was your flight? What was your flight path? Did you and Ryan go straight to LA or did y'all fly to Michigan? I started asking her casual questions like, you know, if you got on a flight, you would know your flight path, right? Or on true or false. And she literally like looks over at Ryan and was like, Ryan, answer these questions, Ryan. And I'm like, I mean, you're not the smartest girl in the world, but I think you would know your travel plans. And Ryan's like, we're not allowed to talk about that. Production said we didn't have to speak about our flights to y'all. I'm like, I don't give a what production says. If I got a question, either you're going to answer my question or I'm going to figure it out my damn self. It's like, oh, okay. Red flag. My mind's working overtime. I ain't got nothing to do today. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. So I go downstairs because their production has just brought their luggage in. If they went home to America, why did they come back with every single suitcase? We only have, a week left in the chalet. Why do you have every single suitcase that you started with? And why are the bag tags old? I'm like, something ain't adding up. A New Zealand production assistant was walking by. I'm like, hey girl, come here. She was like, what's up, Jimmy? I'm like, they didn't go home, did they? And she's like, I'm not allowed to say that. I'm like, the baggage is like, the proof is in the pudding, in the words of my grandma. I'm like, they never left New Zealand. And she literally was like, I gotta go, gotta run. And I'm like, I already know the answer. So I go back upstairs. I pull Marlon in the bathroom because I tell Marlon everything. And I'm like, yo, they didn't go home. This is shady. Like, it's cool if y'all just went to the hotel to sort things out, but don't be up here lying to my face saying you went home. And then long story short, I then proceed to tell Ryan and Mag, I don't think that y'all left. I think y'all have been here the whole time. What's good? Nicki Minaj voice. They basically were like, yeah, we never truly left New Zealand. We were in separate hotel rooms, but we never left New Zealand. And honestly, this is when I was done with them. None of this made sense. They're taking up space in this house. I was done with Ryan and Mag in this moment. And yes, all the singles were happy to see Ryan come back because, they had formed that kumbaya camp vibe before the exes arrived. But I didn't see the purpose of Ryan and Mag coming back. They had already figured everything out. When they left the peak, they should have stayed gone from the peak. So Sam and Paris arrived back from their date. Ryan, little PA, finally getting some action going, starting the pot with me, asked Sam why he took Paris instead of Tierney. And you could literally hear a pin drop in that room. Everyone was like on edge. And Sam basically said, keeping my options open, do what I want to do. And this is what got me. I've rewatched this 3 or 4 times because I'm like, this is not happening. But there is a scene of Tierney being like, it's fine that he's taking her on the date, but I better be the one that goes to the fireplace with him. I am no relationship therapist. I am no life coach. I am simply a smart bitch with a brain. And so let me give you some free advice right now, Tierney, and anybody else out there that agrees with what she said there. No! If he takes another girl on a date, if he's willing to spend his valuable time, because time is precious, on another woman, do not go lay up in the fireplace with him. The fact that she even had that thought in her head made me realize that I don't think she's ready for a serious relationship. I think that she needs to do a lot of soul searching because that is not a healthy mindset. That's all I'm going to say about that. This episode was way more interesting than last week just because, 1, a lot happened, but 2, I felt the editing made sense. We had the Adore and Tyler situation at the beginning of the episode where we see that they're forming a bond regardless of LaDemi and Adore being friends because LaDemi has given the okay, the green light, whatever you want to call it. So we have that going. Georgia and Callum were tested with Paris' arrival, but they got through it. They have literally got through everything in the chalet. It is funny though, because Georgia did have, I don't know if it was her in conversation or her in a confessional. She's like, why does this keep happening to me? I'm like, girl, it's X on the peak. What do you expect to keep happening to you? It literally says in the name of the title, X. X's are gonna arrive. Obviously, with you and Callum having such a strong storyline of your love, they're going to test y'all the most. So that was kind of funny. Georgia didn't understand why this was happening to her. It's girl, it's what you literally signed up for. And then her and Tyler also have a conversation where she asks Tyler if she's prettier than Paris. And again, I get really annoyed with Georgia in this moment. Georgia is one of the prettiest humans I've ever laid my eyes on. And for her to be that insecure in those moments, I guess just kind of proves that all of us are insecure, so I get where she's coming from. However, I wish that she wouldn't ask those questions. Again, she's 21, and God knows what I was doing at 21. So I did see a lot of tweets and a lot of conversation about y'all not liking that, but you have to remember, it doesn't matter how pretty Georgia is. She's still a regular person, and she's still a 21-year-old girl, and we all were figuring it out at 21. So cheers to her and Callum for surviving Paris, because if you can survive Paris, then I'm probably going to survive the rest of this season. Who knows what else is going to happen. Oh, the episode ends with LaDemi and Adore fighting in bed, and I'm fake sleeping once again. The theme of me this season is fake sleeping to get information. When Ryan and Mag decided to come back into the house, I decided to move upstairs to be in LaDemi and Adore's room because our bottom room was just overcrowded and I wanted to be in the girls' locker room with my girls. So I'm in the bed, fake sleeping, and a lot of people have tweeted me what was said in this moment, who was right, who was wrong. And honestly, I love LaDemi and I love Adore. Neither one of them were right because LaDemi kept going back and forth. Yes, I give you the green light with Tyler. Then no, I don't know how I feel about it. But also Adore was going back and forth. I'm going to go downstairs and sleep with Tyler. No, I'm not going to do that. So honestly, it was a pointless conversation. It was useless. Nothing was solved. And they just kept going back and forth, like best friends usually do. That was just a conversation, a drunk conversation where nothing was getting solved. And there was no behind the scenes, special tea there that you needed to know because they were literally just drunk going back and forth. That is the episode. It was Fire Week and I think it was very, very good. Let me know if you like this episode or not. Again, I know I'm going to get love and hate on Twitter. I stand by everything that I did this episode. I did not come into this house to make friends. I came into this house to do what I do best and to start drama. And that's what I did this episode. I do have some tweets to read because this is my favorite part of the episode. Dun, 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 dun. Me watching Just Gem 24 concocts the perfect plan to create some drama in this boring kumbaya episode. Hashtag X on the beach, hashtag X on the peak. This tweet just made me think about what I had to say. Lademi was on AfterBuzz last night, and she admitted that what I've been saying in every recap, that the singles f***ed up in the beginning when they formed this close bond and were practicing preaching loyalty to each other over everything. The point of this show is not to be loyal to your fellow cast members. The point of this show is to find love. I have no loyalty to anyone in this house except myself, and I think that everyone else should think like that, and I think Lademi made it very clear that she regrets not thinking like that at times. We are finally getting rid of people, and you brought back these boring f***s. Ryan was on American Idol. Can he belt out some Journey or some shit? Do one memorable thing. It's all I ask. Hashtag X on the peak. I got a tweet that said, Just Gem 24, you've got the production assistant helping you start the drama. It's about time we get to see you stir the pot. And let's read like 2 more tweets and then we'll call it a day. Jimmy is just here to stir shit and doesn't care about these people's feelings. A bitch after my own heart. I love that y'all are just as messy as me. It makes me feel better about being an all the time. We're ending with this. It's my recap. I can do what I want, right? With all this plotting and pot stirring Just Gem is doing on X on the Peak, I can only imagine the she would start on Big Brother. And that's the tweet of the day. Seriously though, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you enjoyed this recap. And oh my God, like this video, if you noticed, I did not have to take out the trash at all this recap. Thank you, X on the Peak, for giving Staten Island's biggest trash bag, Nicole, 0 camera time this week. No wonder the episode was so good. Make sure you subscribe because God knows I never know when I drop the video. Turn on the notifications and always remember to keep it real because I keep the receipts. Cheers, y'all.